It is unprecedented to be arresting judges. Unprecedented. And we know absolutely that there is a connection between the 90 injunctions that are being held against Trump's unconstitutional power grabs, and now they're arresting judges on these really small sort of technicality type things. They're arresting judges on things they themselves are guilty of. So that is unprecedented. Now, I'm not sure where this goes from here, because I think both of these cases, the New Mexico case and Hannah Duggan in Milwaukee, I think both cases are going to be thrown out. But I don't even know if they care that they're getting thrown out. I think that Pam Bondi going on Fox News and ratcheting up the fear and the danger and being able to, like, in the public eye, try to tie the Democrats to, like, helping 𝗏𝗏𝗏, I think they are trying to lay a groundwork for the Democrats, being for the criminal gangs. They're desperately seeking some type of, political ploy that they can latch onto to take care of them as we approach the midterms. They got to build something, because Trump's approval rating is underwater. He's a fucking disaster on the economy. He's not doing anything for the wars, right? He's accomplished nothing. He's done hundreds of executive orders, but none of those are laws. They don't actually materially affect anyone's lives. So this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because I think it's going to backfire, guys. I really do. I think the judges, I think the judiciary are going to see the inherent danger of Donald Trump and what he's trying to do. Think about it. They've been smearing judges in the press and in the public because of injunctions. Okay? They've been calling judges activist judges, even when some of these judges are like, hardcore Republicans. They're Trump appointees that are doing these injunctions, and they're being smeared as activist judges. They're having their names be sullied. Then Congress is threatened to pass laws taking away the judges' power or threatening to defund the courts. And now they're arresting judges. They're ignoring Supreme Court decisions. They're playing shuck and jive games with Boasberg in criminal contempt. I think the judges are going to start dropping the hammer on these motherfuckers. I really do. I don't see how this helps them. I think, if anything, the judges are going to become much more aware of their need to thwart Donald Trump's bullshit.
Well, a Wisconsin judge is arrested, accused of helping a man avoid being detained by immigration agents. She was arrested today, appeared in a federal court, and was released. FBI Director 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗎 is saying the judge purposefully directed agents away from a man who was supposed to be arrested in her courthouse. News Nation's 𝗚liche𝗶𝗏𝗪 has been following these developments very closely, joins us live. So, Alex, what more are you learning now about her arrest?
Yeah, Kelly, big story that broke this morning. FBI Director 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗎 says Judge Hannah Duggan, a 9-year veteran on the Milwaukee County bench, attempted to misdirect federal agents from arresting an illegal alien inside of her courtroom. In a social media post, Patel says federal agents chased down Eduardo Flores Ruiz on foot, but the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports Duggan allowed Flores Ruiz to leave through a back hallway while immigration officials were conducting business elsewhere. Duggan appeared before a federal judge this morning before being released from custody. Her attorney saying she wholeheartedly regrets and protests her arrest. Wisconsin Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin has also now weighed in, writing, "The president's administration arresting a sitting judge is a gravely serious and drastic move, and it threatens to breach the United States systems of checks and balances." But also, new U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi made her position clear in her own post, writing, "No one is above the law." Flores Ruiz was appearing in a court.
Yeah, no one is above the law except the rapist president, right? Who can ignore court orders and be a fucking criminal schnook, not divest from any of his financial obligations, right? That con is sitting well above the law.
But the Sentinel reports the agents did not have proper arrest warrant. We've reached out to the Milwaukee FBI division for more details. We're still waiting to hear back.
All right, we'll check back. You know, this comes, Alex, after a similar situation unfolded in New Mexico, where a former Democratic judge and his wife were arrested for allegedly harboring gang members.
Yeah, all across the country, we're seeing more and more examples of officials in high positions pushing back against the Trump administration's roundup of illegal aliens. Take a look at these new images showing federal officials executing an arrest at a home of a former New Mexico judge. The Department of Homeland Security says a former Democratic judge in Doña Ana County and his wife were renting out their backyard casita to an alleged Tren de Aragua gang member.
Are they actually gang members? We don't know. They're saying they're unaware that these guys had any gang affiliation. I mean, obviously, we know with the whole Trump due process thing, there has been some question as to whether people are actual gang members.
California Senator Alex Padilla posted this on X, formerly Twitter. It's clear that this arrest of a sitting judge is in line with the Trump administration's practice of intimidation and attempt to assert themselves above the other branches of government. Retired California Superior Court Judge Julie Tang says this.
The law gives a judge a very broad power to protect the court's decorum and prevent incidents that could jeopardize the safety of individuals inside the courtroom. I imagine that her case will be dismissed also. I can't imagine this case going to court.
This is going to be interesting. I think it's going to play out in the judge's favor, to be honest with you. I really do, because they had an incorrect warrant, and frankly, it would appear that ICE is really starting to navigate into some shady fucking territory with their tactics of how they are trying to catch people and blurring constitutional lines. Certainly, they're making a habit of arresting people without warrants and you know, not having any due process on the back end either.
The arrest comes amid a growing battle between the Trump administration and the federal judiciary over the president's executive actions over deportations and other matters.
Well, there's no doubt that these are like intimidation tactics, but here's the deal. I don't think they're going to work. I think judges are going to be even more invested in dropping the hammer on Trump with this shit. I don't think they're going to be intimidated. I think they're going to be more wanting to fucking slam the fucking gates on Trump's neck. I mean, think about it. He is now venturing into a territory where he's trying to intimidate the literal branch of government that it's their job to be his checks and balance, and trying to send a message. And then they're going on TV. Pam Bondi went on TV putting the facts of this case out, which is the one thing that made me think, God damn, they're not even going to prosecute this, because she was literally sharing the evidence on Fox News. So they're literally just using this to litigate and create some sort of like content. Oh, we're arresting judges to sort of feed the Twitter idiots, feed the right-wing influencers and shit. But let's watch Pam Bondi on Fox. This shit was wild.
The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave.
See, now this is what I'm talking about that is highly unusual. The U.S. Attorney General, okay, is going on a news program just spouting like details of like legal cases. And supposedly she's mounting a case against this judge and this guy.
We remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you.
One of the things that we're noticing here is how regardless of what happens with these cases, which we don't know how flimsy these cases are going to be, and I'm guessing both cases are going to be pretty flimsy, but they are creating this content. They're creating this Fox News content that's just going to reverberate. By the time these cases disappear, there will be a whole nother newsworthy item that Fox will be focusing on. But in the meantime, the Attorney General is here having this PR day at Fox, just dumping all the evidence, litigating the whole case live on the air and TV. It's pretty fucking strange, dude. This creeps me out as much as the fascism, because I've never seen an Attorney General that is just basically being a TV personality, while simultaneously she was talking about the Epstein documents, right? Remember, she had a truckload of Epstein documents, and we've not heard peep about Epstein.
It says here a foot chase ensued. The agents, and this was a DEA agent and an FBI agent, pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse, ultimately apprehended him near the intersection of West State Street and 10th Street. So the judge apparently has created a situation here where you have a public foot chase. And we all know that, well, sometimes they can... Not the public foot chase, guys. Oh my God, there was a public foot chase. They're going to ask for the death penalty. Without incident. They can also turn into very dangerous situations.
John, that's exactly right. She put the lives of...
John, she endangered the lives of all Milwaukeeans. We are going to ask for the death penalty on this case.
Our law enforcement officers at risk. She put the lives of citizens at risk. A street chase, which is absurd that had to happen. But yes, she put a lot of people in danger. That judge...
She put a lot of people at danger. At danger. That's my new hashtag. Right? Oh, shit, dude. Dude, meet me at danger. Oh, Lord. Dude, these people are fucking morons, bro.
I regard it very much within the prism of what we've been dealing with over the last month, which is an intense assault on judicial independence. They have been disobeying federal court orders systematically.
See, I mean, think about that right there. Pam Bondi is going to arrest a judge for obstruction because he was harboring a suspected gang member. She wants to charge the Milwaukee judge, Hannah Dugan, with interfering with a legal proceeding of this deportation. But Donald Trump has broken multiple court orders, not turning a plane around when commanded to, sending innocent people, being ordered by the Supreme Court 9-0 to bring them back and doing nothing, right? He is actively impeding legal proceedings and legal rulings himself. And no, she's not going to arrest Trump, right? He's going to remain above the law, but it is pretty unique.
Incurred criminal contempt findings in the courtroom of Judge Boasberg, a conservative Republican judge. They have been demanding the impeachment of judges who rule against the lawlessness of the Trump administration. There are now more than 90 preliminary injunctions and temporary restraining orders against the chaos that's been unleashed on the country. 90
injunctions by judges on Trump's shenanigans. 90. Dude, that's like one a day, bro. We just hit the 100-day mark. Jesus.
By the Trump administration. And now they're arresting judges. And the first felony criminal charge brought against Judge Hannah Dugan in Wisconsin is interfering with a legal proceeding, which is essentially what they've been doing all along. What Judge Boasberg is about to hold them in criminal contempt for, and has found that there is probable cause for criminal contempt, is that they deliberately ignored and defied his order not to take off in those airplanes headed for El Salvador and not turning the airplanes around. So on the logic of this arrest of Judge Dugan, all of the people in the Trump administration who participated in defying that order by Judge Boasberg themselves could be arrested for interfering with a legal proceeding and perhaps other criminal charges like kidnapping, as you were suggesting before.
Dude, that is crazy. I mean, he summed it up pretty good. The fact that they're trying to charge Hannah Duggan interfering with the legal proceeding, but that's what they've been doing with Boasberg. He was very clear. Turn the planes around. Trump did not turn the plane around. They have been stonewalling in court ever since. Trump is not making a move to get Abrego Garcia back, right? It's just a constant sort of stonewalling and aw-shucksing the legal rulings, and they are interfering with legal proceedings all over the map related to their 90 injunctions, right? And now they're trying to arrest judges for that which they are doing, you know, themselves on the daily. Now, I personally, I will say this. If Trump was not engaged in so much nefarious and crooked and threatening behavior, there's probably a fair chance that Trump would win some things on appeal. But I feel like what's going to happen is that the judiciary is going to start feeling like the Trump administration is an actual threat to them. I do believe the judges value their impartiality. But I think before this stuff took place, there may have been some instances where the judges would rein themselves in and be careful, saying, you know what? I don't want to overreach with my judicial power. And they may have sometimes reined themselves in and given them the benefit of the doubt, given them a little more leeway because they wanted to be impartial and they wanted to make sure that they weren't like overreaching. But now I think they're going to realize that they're not overreaching, that any lack of reach they do is going to be used against them, right? So that's what I think is going to happen. It's not like they're going to be mad at Trump and they're going to start like voting against Trump. I think what it is in spots where they may have been lenient and been careful to not overreach, I think they're going to be way more protective of the law and the exact letter of the law and not give Trump's administration any flex, right? Which is going to harm Trump because most of Trump's shit is illegal. That's the problem. And they sometimes will let that slide because they don't want to appear impartial. But I think now they might just hold them to the exact letter of the law and be like, fuck you, bro. And if they do that, Trump is going to get buried because his shit is just really like not legal. That's my take on it, okay? I think this is going to backfire in a massive fucking way because Trump thinks he's got a lot more power than he does, man. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.